Alabaster pale skin and a lion's mane of thick dark hair cascading down around the shoulders, and over large eyes with pupils so large as to look nearly colorless. A glitter above a sharp nose and a thin slit of a mouth twisted into a sneer. Boom, wow, wow, boom, wow, 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 boom, wow, 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 wow. The first time ever I saw your face, I feel the moon and the stars moving your head. Semius Ash is the name of today's character, a fallen Asamir Hexblade Warlock. Acapella dubstep is sweeping the nation. The first time ever I saw your face, I felt the moon and the stars moving your head. Whoa, that was like that got almost too crazy. Wow, wow. Hey! Selector. Okay, I'm just getting my files opened up here, folks. Everybody's getting their jammies on and getting their I never know how this opening song is gonna go. Me neither, dude. I just let the caffeine and the stupid collide in a confluence of pure nonsense, and then I just go from there. Am I here? Do I exist? Where am I? Hey, I'm in the little box in the corner of the screen. That's me. Greetings, everybody. It's old Hunkrin Bernal here. Hunkrin Bernal, living it up in Rungammer. And, yeah, YouTube channel. We're Bob Rossing it up today, guys. You know how we do. We're Bob Rossing it up. Oh, my God, caffeine. I love you. I love you, caffeine. I love you. You're so pretty. You treat me so good, caffeine. Okay, so I'm doing this Hexblade badass. Whew, I tell you, you guys, I just snarfed down this 16-ounce concoction of caffeinated caffeine, and I was like running a little late, so I was just like snarfed that sucker, and I was using a straw. I know, not sustainable, right? But there I was, drinking this massive coffee with a straw, and I'm just like, oh my gato. Oh my gato. When I drink with a straw, I can drink fast. Coffee gone. And then the next thing you know, acapella dubstep. I hope everybody's doing great today. I hope y'all had a great week. Once again, we have made it to the future we dreamed we would make it to. And now we're at the weekend. Our time is ours. If you live on a schedule that is, you know, off the sort of weekday pattern, maybe today's your work day. You're just tuning in to get a little taste of Zen before you got to go make some hay out there in the big old world. Well then, welcome. You're going to do it. You're up to the challenge. We're going to make it. We're going to make it together. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Okay, I want a little bit better frame rate. Ooh, I don't want to be giving things away. What could that be? Let's hide it. Okay, and then I'm going to hide this over here. Just closing some of these files. So we get a little bit better frame rate. Let's just quit this down here. Let's quit this down here. Let's just quit here. Let's click on this here. I'm clicking. I'm quitting. I don't want to run photos. Okay. Hey, Chuck, how you doing, man? Well, you know, coffee time and beer time, they often overlap. I mean, we're adults so that we can have beer at, you know, like 9 in the morning or so. We can do whatever we want. Now, a lot of times when you're doing your background here, you're going to notice, especially if you're using the same brush set that I do, you're going to get some crummy performance when you're using really big brushes and doing really big strokes and scribbling around. So one little bypass you can use is to look at a little bit less. You can also, if you have this little, I do this guy sometimes. See if we can get some slightly better. Oh yeah, look at that. I'm running on 30 megs of memory because I am dumb with computers. So let's free up some. I know this stuff is fascinating. I watched this cool YouTube channel called Runehammer. You get to watch the guy free up his current memory live. Okay, there my frame rate's a lot better. All right, so I'm cruising along here. One little trick you can do, and I've already goofed up, so I'm gonna do this right here. I want to pull this because later I like to have my files prepared in a certain fashion. Okay, so now we're going to have separation there. That's going to make us happy in the long run. Back to this layer. Okay, so one thing you can do is take your thing here, and you could even just use white if you don't want to do some hue disruption. But if you want some hue disruption, get some yellow. I'm gonna do like a warm thing today. I'm feeling this warm tone. Summer is here. I want to be part of it. We're going to go together. Let's take a little journey. So what you do is just put your gradient on overlay, and this is going to create some weird effects on your hues. So just use the one color and then do this. Patch. There we go. I'm done. So now go back to your brushes because gradient tools are for weirdos, and then just do this stuff and then start mixing again by hand. And I still am using these huge brushes, so it's like kind of crummy performance, getting pretty annoying. So then another thing you can do is then grab what you've just painted and do the same step again with these colors. And maybe push it a little further. Maybe then grab some white, push it a little further. Okay, there you go. Gradient tools are for weirdos. So you go back, you get some of the eggy yellow here. Get some of this nice like breakfasty colors up here. Get rid of some of this glow, mix it in, just kind of scribble it out. So you see how I use Photoshop tools to find some of my colors, but then always using brushes and just your hand to create the sort of the sound of the colors or the movement of the colors. Because tools just leave such a sterile taste in your mouth as far as how colors are distributed and how they scatter. It just feels very like computery. But your hand always makes things interesting. And then I'm about ready, so I want to get a little bit of a darker brown to get my kind of base, or like what the ground is back here. So I'm doing this hex blade, right? This is like a warlock guy who's also a warrior. So I kind of want to do something warm because I'm in this warm mood. I'm almost getting like a fall feeling here, but I want this warmth, but then I'm going to counterpoint it with like some kind of purples or maybe cyans, which are going to represent this kind of warlocky feel, so it's going to be cool. I hope it's going to be cool. Honestly, every time you start a piece, there's a very high likelihood of it just completely sucking. Okay, so now I'm just adding some little tidbits here and there. All right, so how are we doing on memory now? Terrible. doing absolutely terrible. So something is just leaking memory like mad. Who knows what it is, but it's annoying. It's annoying. I think OBS is to blame. I think OBS is a streaming and then streaming with the same, all this, I think it just, yeah. Okay, we're going to go here and we're going to go, I'm going to save it as, yeah, see, look at that. That's just me trying to save, so my computer is completely horked. Now, in my computer's defense, I run this thing like a freaking chariot horse and never let it give it any water. So, like, what's it doing right now? Dying. Dying. Okay. Saving 0%, 3%. Oh my God, I'm so glad this computer doesn't talk. It'd be all stuttery and weird. Okay, so there's just doing a background. So I know that a lot of people talk a lot about sort of my use of color and stuff like that, but just like there it was, right there. You just saw all of the secrets revealed. If there are any, there's no secrets. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so now I just pop a layer up, if my computer will cooperate. Okay, so there's a layer. And then I get one of my darkest colors. So see where my picker is right there? So I'm going to slide around and get one of these. Oh man, it's almost black. Then I get a close-up look and I'm, oh, where am I on the scale? Okay, get a little darker and a little less color. And then here's my sort of starting tone here. But good Lord, I mean, lag is one thing, but this is like out of control. I mean, what is going on? Father? What have you done to my computer, Father? I told you. I don't support your artistic ways. Yeah, like my cursor is like, good Lord, what is going on? Technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. Technical difficulties. Reboot. Reboot, you say? I don't even know if the stream is surviving right now. Oh my God. Piece of junk. Father? Father, have you frozen the internet? Okay, so I'm going to restart Photoshop at least. So just we're in the title screen. I'm trapped in the title screen, Father. I knew you didn't love me. But now I know you never loved me. That's why you didn't support me. Oh my God, everything is so stinking slow. So I'm closing all kinds of windows and tabs and diggly donks and doodads. Stream status is bad. Your elf is dying. Photoshop, for the love of all that's good in this world, quit. So hey, I hope everybody's cool out there. 57 people. I wouldn't be surprised if it dropped to 7 here in a couple seconds. This is not exciting viewing. Every time you mention being a fruit, the internet will freeze. And if you mention being a fruit one more time, I will bite your butt, Father. Okay, what's happening here? Can we get the icons to bounce, please? Okay. Memory looks good. The dilithium crystals are in the dilithium sockets. I like to draw the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Hey, I made it on time. Yabadoo, yabadoop, yabadee. Tech has been remarkably terrible here today. Man, I'm awful at this stuff. Usually I have this sort of half-hour period where I blunder my way through using my computer before the stream begins, but I was running a bit late today, so you guys get first-hand look at my idiocy. God, that's harsh. Life's hard enough. Don't kick yourself in the nuts. I have a sinking feeling about this computer's capabilities at this time. All right, let's open up this file. Let's open this pit up. And we're back. Hello, everybody. I'm in the little window. I'm the little man in the little window. I'm in the window. I'm in the wall. Hey, look at that. We're back. We're functional again. I can write my name. Okay. The buffaloes, the frogs are here. And, what am I doing? Oh, yes. I paint. I paint. Father, will you please pull the lever so we once again have internet? For some reason, this yellow is like bothering me, so I'm going to add just a little bit of canary type color here. Just a little bit of yellow snow here to break up our Betty White. All right, there we go. I just needed that. Thanks for bearing with me while I got that done, guys. There's some kind of weird light source there. Why did I do two little speckle freckle? I don't know. I don't know why I did no speckle freckle. I just did. I just did. So once again, searching for this base color. Searching. It's like Battlestar Galactica. Searching for a blue planet called Earth. All right, enough. So we got a hex blade. What kind of stuff does a hex blade do? Like what's the sort of what's the gesture of this character? He's a warlock, so he's dealing with converting blood and using demonic energies, tapping into the dimensions. But he's also sort of a warrior, so there's a sword involved. Like, what could he be doing? You know, I don't think he's going to be doing like an epiphanic thing. For some reason, I'm seeing this. He's like holding the two dimensions at bay, almost. Okay, so let's kind of go with that, and then I'll put him at a slight angle. So let's just think torso first. So sometimes just doing like a sort of some boxy stuff for your torso can give you a sense for where the body's going to wind up. Okay, so there's my torso. Now, anybody who actually knows how to draw is just going to be like, oh my god, barf. His focus is Slayer. Ooh, Vader Death Grip is a kind of clever idea. So Vader Death Grip would be one hand, and like this is the Vader Death Grip, right? It's like a claw. Like it'd be right there. That's a pretty cool idea. I'm going to go with that. Whoever said Vader Death Grip, thank you. Rich. Thanks, dude. I'm going to run with that. So you see, like, did I just draw a hand? Hell no. I just drew some kind of weird little cauliflower shape. But, you know, my constant message with this Bob Ross mindset is just to go with it. Just be chill about it. It's all good, baby. It's all good. And, you know, lately I've been doing a lot of thinking about the channel because you guys have probably noticed that I've really fallen off on my video output lately. And it's just because my interests are changing. It's just like the times change, man. So, with that in mind, I've really been thinking a lot about this. Like, you know, you guys have often joked around with me like being the Bob Ross of RPGs, right? And I really, really am grateful for that evaluation. I freaking love Bob Ross. I get infinite respect for the dude. Not just as an artist, but as a human freaking being. As an example of what it is to be a good person. And so, pursuant to that, I would like to embrace some of this mindset of accepting that mantle. Maybe I can be that character. So making a fist down here doesn't feel quite right. So I'm going to give him a little more of, you know, one of these kind of mage hands, right? Where they're sort of their other hand is overly flexed. And, you know, whoa, I drew that hand too big. Oh, no, panic. No, don't panic. Just shrink it a little bit. There you go. Everything's okay. Just do a little quick cheat. You're in Photoshop land. You get all these privileges. You get, so you don't have to be a purist when you're using Photoshop and be like, draw, erase, draw, erase, draw, erase. I'll do it as if I were using traditional media. No, man, embrace the tools. Have fun. You spent money on all this stuff. Like, enjoy it. He parked the car on the grass. He had his name written in gold on the dash. He said, man, I know you cool, and I know you mean, but I got the flyest new shit rolling off gasoline. All right, so I'm just kind of cleaning up some of my construction stuff. So there you can start to see my character is emerging. Step up yo fro gang. Yo, you got the fro game. Straight popping. Look at this big old fro. You straight locking it up. All right. We don't joke around. This is not a laughing matter. This is very serious. I'm not going to do a battle skirt today. I do like battle skirts and kilts all the time. We're going to do pants. This dude got pants on. We're also going to do something interesting with the gear. I really would like to do some gear here. And we have a very specific request from my patron about this shoulder piece that he's going to do. It's sort of segmentada, a little bit inspired by The Witcher. And so right now I'm just kind of, I wouldn't say that I'm even really drawing the stuff. I'm just setting my brain up to see where it might go. I'm giving my eyes a chance to evaluate my decisions. All right, this is basic stuff. I mean, you guys know my style, right? This is kind of nothing earth-shattering here. But I really do find that when doing these character portraits, if you do too much, if you do all this, like look at my sword, look at my hand, look at my arms, look at me, it starts to feel unnatural. It feels strange. So I find that more boring poses work better for character portraits rather than like flying leaps and crazy acrobatic poses and stuff like that. These kind of boring poses, almost like senior photos or something, they work really well because they just feel relaxed. They feel kind of natural. And in a character portrait, you do kind of want to showcase the outfit and the equipment as much as the character. And that can be better done in a really simple kind of relaxed pose. Now, I have this head here. I like my head, but I'm going to try this. Remember this old trick? You just draw your stuff, but then once you're done drawing or sketching, you just flip the head. And see how that changed everything? So on the one side, he's contemplating this summon, but now that I flip the head, it almost looks like he's getting ready to cast it at something. And I find that very interesting. It twists the neck and it changes the dynamic of the torso. And I like that. So it's a corny trick. It's just basically flipping your head horizontally, right? Super corny. But it gives a certain life to the character that I really like. What's up with Coop? What do you mean, what's up with Coop? Oh, what, is he crying back there? Yeah, when it's, oh man, now I've said his name. Good Lord. Yeah, when it's July, you know how big, fluffy dogs are. They just get overheated and they start itching. You got to put the cone on them, and then they're grumpy. And the never-ending story. Is that a little more reasonable for pants? I mean, anybody who's gone to Ren Fair and wearing like period pants, they can be quite billowy in the upper portion. Be quiet. He also just wants attention. He's in a head cone. Yeah, he's in a cone, man. Big part of reality of dog ownership is that cone. Like, he went out in the backyard unsupervised the other day just because I was writing or something, and he's like all hot and itchy, and he's like chewing on his butt. It's so gnarly. You guys, let's talk about one of my favorite topics, butt chewing. The never-ending story. Da, 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 da. You've got to name me, Sebastian. Sebastian. You've got to become a frog, Sebastian. But I don't know how. Bite sandwich. I can't be a frog. That's impossible. The never-ending story. Okay, I'm just filling things in with color to get my sense of mass. You gotta watch out when you're walking Artax through the swamp of sorrow. It's a muddy morass. Morass, that's not a word you hear too often. I think there was wasn't there a Warcraft raid that had morass in the name, like the Black Morass or something like that? Let's go get some epic loot. I need the Corcoran Destroyer for my hunter. Yada yada yada. Never ending story. Yada yada. Oh God, what's that song from Labyrinth with the baby? For some reason, instead of getting what I wanted, my brain fed me the sha-la-la-la-la-la, don't be shy, you got to kiss the girl from Little Mermaid. Why did I get that instead? I can't control my own brain. Yada yada. Double peg legs. Yep. Look, these are just going to end just like that. There you go. So not really doing a good job of narrating my creative process here, but I think you guys are going to survive. I'm just living life my own way. It's Saturday morning. Yeah, man, this Junked stuff. So if you guys haven't taken a look at Junked, please do. Really excited to start I'm starting to get some really detailed gameplay questions, which means people aren't just buying the PDF for, you know, shees and gigs. They're actually playing, and that's very exciting to me. You know, and like, there's always hard things going on in life and like sad stuff happening. And those of you out there who are going through hard times and sad times right now, I reach out to you. But also, at least for me, sometimes like sad times and tragedy can remind me of just how great everything really can be. And so if you're out there in the world right now and you're going through hard times, stay strong. Call up people who love you. Send them a little text. Maybe get out in your yard and spend a little time, read a book. You know, think of all the good times and hold on to the light, so to speak. And we're going to make it together. We're going to do this. We're going to do this Earth thing. Okay, so my little claw here. We kind of started with this idea of like a Darth Vader grip. But when I turned the head, things kind of changed on me. And I think that's okay. I don't even think you would see the thumb. But I need that just right separation of the fingers to get this kind of crunch, you know, like it's got that crunchy knuckle kind of feel to it. It's like, that's just weird. I mean, I don't even know what I'm seeing there. And you know, like, you guys, if you're drawing out there and you're having a hard time with hands, do not feel like something's wrong with you or like you're a slow learner or something. Like, hands are super difficult. They're very complex objects. And they're a big part of human communication, so your mind is trained to pick apart a hand pose, whether or not it's really correct or not. Just like a face. The pinky curls the most. And then the curl sort of like, behold my hook hand. I hate this hand. This hand is just killing me, guys. So I think I'm going to back up on my idea. I think I'm going to go back to facing this way. And I'm going to sort of bring the head down a little bit, like with this sort of anger. We're going to reset the sphenomastoid tendons. There we go. And I'm going to move him over, and now we're gonna take this Vader grip seriously. Okay, we're not going to give up on this idea. So now the thumb is inside, and he's like this, sort of. There we go. There we go. He's gripping the invisible throat. Is kind of how Vader does it, right? He uses this sort of invisible throat. Your throat is mine. He doesn't ever really laugh like that. I kind of made that up. It would be unfortunate to learn of your throat's becrushedness, Administrator. You've drawn the Bart man. That's Bart now. Oh, you mean because I have this sort of blocky head? Yeah. Here we go. There we go. Mo better. Now, I know that I drew some detail in here for the neck and stuff like this, but I'm just going to let it go now. That was just to guide my eyes. I don't really need it anymore. Remember, I drew all these straps and all this stuff in here? That was just to guide my brain. I'm getting rid of all of it. I'm just doing a haughty fill. Although there's one piece I like here, which is this hand. So I'm going to take a color from my background. Check it out. I'm going to record this hand. This hand has got some style to it. It's kind of weird, and I want to record it. So I'm just going to do that. That's it. Now I'm going to fill around this color. And it's just a way for me to document how I drew that hand, which is just odd, and I want to keep that oddness. So I know that I'm all zen and namaste and just floating through the piece, but sometimes you do a little set of ink work that you do want to keep. And that doesn't make you OCD. It's all part of the fun, man. You just have fun with it. But you don't have to be so zen and relaxed that you're beating yourself up for wanting to keep a little piece of drawing that might be hard to replicate. And we'll get to all that later, because a lot of the personality is happening up here. A far smaller portion of it is determined by the lower part of the body. There we go. So he almost has his hand down here on his thigh, or maybe he's holding a book, which we could kind of pull the fingers off like that and then kind of tuck the fingers, and he's holding onto a book. I don't know. Either way, I'm going to leave it right about there for now. And I want to get this expression. I want to know this character. So this character is sort of like pale, has some large ears, is nearly elven, has some sort of slightly large eyes in a kind of awkward way. So it's going to be an interesting project to get this done. Tell us about the last scene, Pancake. Maybe we can help you out. I'd start by ramping things up. Cliffhanger. Gets a party invested in Plaka like being cheated or ripped off. Well, I'm not sure. I didn't see the first question, but if we're talking RPG advice kind of stuff right here, cheating and ripping off a party, I don't think is a good way to get a hook set. I think a good way to do it is to bypass the supposedly valuable freedom that comes toward the beginning of a session. Screw that freedom. I'm not interested. Instead, you montage that shoit, and you cut the game right to the moment that the action begins. You don't let players flounder around for the first hour of a session, and then they get to the temple, and then they're on the expedition. Like, that's not my jam. I believe in the hook being placing them right in the imminence of the action. The freedom of that sort of floundering player sort of sandboxiness, I think, has to wait until 3 to 7 sessions in a campaign. I know that might be a little polarizing, a little controversial. Okay, so see how I have a little bit of a strange character going here? Now I know it's just like, what am I even drawing? I'm just trying to catch a little bit of inhumanness in the way that this head is coming together. And so the eyes are a bit far apart, the face is a bit gaunt, the skin is a bit pale, so on and so forth. The ears are a bit large, but not necessarily elven. He's been sort of changed by, the use of demonic forces. How y'all living? Man, we living swell. The players were sitting in a tavern. Okay, that's your first mistake. Recent victory when messenger informed them the dwarves' underground empire fell to a demonic invasion. Oh, that's cool. And random advice. Okay, thanks, Cam. Yeah, see, I would say rather than they're sitting in the tavern, I would say like they walked into the tavern and the floor drops out. Because the demonic invasion in the dwarven tunnels is under the tavern. Instead of letting the players, kind of meander their way into the plot, hoping that they'll get hooked on it, you shove it in their face. The tavern collapses, bursts into flames, there's a freaking sinkhole. Everyone in the tavern drops down into these dwarven tunnels. They're swarming with demons, and in those opening moments, all the other sort of patrons of the tavern are slain by these ravenous demons, except a couple cool people like the barkeep and maybe like a young kid or something who was sneaking around like stealing from the bar and nobody even knew it. You know what I mean? And you get this ragtag group. Kind of like the Poseidon Adventure, if you guys are familiar with that film. So here we have this kind of look. I'm liking this look. He has been changed by demonic forces, and I'm digging it. Does it feel like I'm going slow? Am I going slow? What's up, Adam? Hello, Hank. Hey, Mr. Bonenberger. What's up, dude? Hank runs his games at 9,000% velocity. Yeah, so Cameron knows all too well. We did this one Cryfoth thing, and they're hanging out, and they're lizards. And the story opens with gigantic boulders falling from the sky and crushing like their entire military unit. Not you're sitting in a tavern, whiling away the hours, discussing whether or not you're interested in the plot hooks. So I know I'm a little harsh with all this stuff. Maybe I'm a bit extreme, but it's just a style that I like. There's no wrong or right. It's just the style I represent, so I'm not going to back up now. I really do like that breakneck pace. In your face, breakneck pace. But even Cameron himself is a great example. At Con, I got the privilege of being able to sort of eavesdrop on Cameron's game, which I gotta say is actually kind of a cool experience to eavesdrop a game. It's interesting because you're not a player who is considering what's being said from a player point of view. You're not the DM, so you're not worried about doing DM-y things. You're just a freaking spy. You're just hearing it. And so anyways, my point was, Cameron has a different style than I do, and it's totally legit. They were having fun. It was set up, it's more nuanced, like there's more, I think, the longer, if you can postpone the action and still have an adventure be exciting, you will get more nuance between characters. Same with like Tim Carney's game. So we did a Gloam game, 5e at AtCon. It was a 3-hour game, and we did exactly what I just mentioned, like that I don't like that much, which is we spent the first like 90 minutes, almost 2 hours, sort of floundering a bit and searching around and looking for the lead that we needed and kind of so on. You know what I mean? But it doesn't feel like floundering because we were all having fun together and it was all groovy. And so by the time we did find like the profane chapel, I think it was what it was called, like basically the goal, by the time we found it, there was a lot of nuance between our characters, and it was really cool. So it's not that the counter of what I advise is bad. It's just my advice comes from a point of taste. So there you go. There you go. It's just that simple. Yo, Hunter, what's up? I devoted 10 pages in my journal to 10 different ways to start an adventure. Yeah. The tavern, honestly, it's a really odd trope because it's like, to me, is one of the worst parts of D&D is just being in the tavern. I think maybe people just want to be in a tavern in real life. Lord knows I do. I love being in the tavern. But if it's D&D time and I only have X hours, I like those hours to be spent ramming a hover bike into a hover barge. Slinging my frog mutant friends off of my hover bike as a weapon. As a frogapult. Like if there's going to be a demon invasion in the Dwarven tunnels, I'm ready. Like, let's deploy and go find them. Find where they're coming from and kill them all. Not learn about some nuanced storylines with some people and blood shippity shippity shabbity boop bop. But, you know, if you're good at that as a DM, then rock on, man. Just rock on. Just have fun. Why not? So, okay, I'm starting to develop something here. I know it may seem like insanely slow. Yeah, when you're with friends, yeah, it's not floundering. I feel like I'm going slow. Am I slow? What time is it? Oh, yeah, I'm super slow. My gosh, it's 10:45. So let's just hang out. Let's do an extra hour on this stream. What y'all say? By the way, 88 of you nut jobs, stone cold kicking it. Nice to have y'all. Thank you for tuning in to Runehammer. As always, the pleasure, I hope, is not only mine, but it's definitely in part mine. Alright. So the thumb goes forward in the choke, like that. The choke grip. Then the fingers hook viciously. I find your lack of faith disturbing. Or is it disappointing? What does he say? I can't remember. Star Wars has been so completely ruined that it's been quite a while since I watched the originals. Alright. Let me just remove these little werewolf claws I accidentally put on there. Okay, so we're doing this kind of Vader chokehold. But something's a little off. The energy isn't right. So before I get trapped in a lot of lighting decisions, here we're gonna go through this whole thing again. See, now it doesn't make any sense. He's not even looking at the fool he's choking. That's when you know you're a baller. You don't even look at the fool you're choking. You look away. The nose looks off. Yeah, it's just a super straight nose at the moment. So maybe, too, one thing we could do is kind of do this and bring this concentration level in. See, so he's more leaning into... Okay, there, that's good. That's a good change. Now, my back arm isn't quite right. And, you know, this is a really big part of this process, you guys, and I cannot emphasize enough how important the sort of spiritual side of your creativity is at a stage like this. Good God, what is that dog doing? And what I mean by spiritual side is like staying happy about all this. Like, I'm not really digging this piece that much. But, you know, what brushes are you using? Oh, Sparth. I really only use one brush by Sparth. It's his triangle brush. But if you go on Gumroad and look up the Sparth tutorials, not only will you see a lot of where I get my techniques, at least I hope it's visible, but also he has brush packs. And you know, a lot of people ask about brush, but it really just does not matter. It just, like, the brush is just nothing. It's all about technique. It's all about practice. And even more so, more than any other factor, it's about staying cheerful as you work. Not kicking yourself in the nuts. Because, I mean, you guys have probably heard these kind of jokes and memes. It's like, your art is absolutely awful for 90% of the journey. It's just like, you can barely look at it. And, you know, artists can be very tough on themselves. And so for that period, when the art is not looking good, I think it's just, imperative to keep a bright attitude. This is going to turn out, it's going to be okay. This guy is in dire need of eyebrows. I'm going to get into the eyebrow game. There we go. Just need a little more eye content there too. And this weird gap between nose and mouth I think is key. We might want to get into some of this stuff. I am Subotai, thief and archer. Hey Hank, I'm addicted to the mainframe episodes. Hey, that's cool, Nathan. What's up? I love these streams. Hey man, thanks. I appreciate that. The new Star Wars movies aren't made for old fans, and that's fine. Hating stuff is hard work. Loving stuff is fun and easy. Yeah, Sean. Hey, I didn't say I hate the movies. They're just kind of, they're not my jam. They're not for me, and that's okay. Ooh, there we go. That's a sort of almost like a Logan style beard. That's a different beard. Nice. Because remember, I want to get this like Hexblade feel, and I don't want to chicken out on it. I want him to be, he's been shaped by the dark powers, as Saruman would say. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now let's hairify his hair. So, said it a few times in a few different streams, but to hairify, what I'll do is use a smaller brush and just do a few strays. And you don't need a bunch. Like, you don't need to draw every stinking hair because it gets annoying and it looks weird. But you just do a couple little strays and you're done. And there you get that hair feel. Now, suddenly, I'm very much into this character. So, just like that, I went from practically losing hope to being kind of really interested in what this character's story is. And that's why that attitude piece is so important. If I were to walk away from the piece before that happened, I may never return to it. And I also send myself this really dark message, which is like, you're not that good at this. You don't want to be walking away. It's kind of like the old adage, like, never end an argument with somebody when you're still mad. Always come to some kind of resolution, right? Because you're going to leave this uncompleted emotional work. And I think it's really similar with art. If you get frustrated with a piece and walk away from it, you're sending yourself this really tough message, that I'm not that good at this, and it ended unresolved, and like, oh man, that's not good for your brain, especially if you're trying to be creative on the daily. You know what I mean? So you gotta love yourself, peoples. Love yourself and just believe when it seems dark, just keep on loving. And the same is true with like circumstances in life that y'all may be dealing with. It's gonna get better. It's gonna be all right. And I'm not even saying that as like a corny motivational phrase. Like I was living those words recently. I was in one of the darkest places I've ever been, and I made it out. Made it out of that darkness. Partially because people around me loving me, partially because you guys support me, and partially because I'm strong and I refuse to quit. Alright, so here we got, I'm just highlighting up a little bit. You guys can see what I'm doing. I'm just trying to bring some dimension to the face. And so, I'll grab a color and give it a little more lightness and a little more pink. Kind of play with some of the wrinkles in the forehead and play with some of the chiseling of the cheeks and the throat. Zendan Zero, you are doing a Runehammer stream right. Yes. Hey Hank, teaching junk to my kids today. Oh man. Sean Halls. I really had fun with it. At the con and before the con and after the con, actually. Really fun to see Barker and Click and Nate from WasD20 not only playing the game, but also sort of asking clutch questions. And I always love a game table to do that. Like, you don't want so much unclarity in the rules that it's a barrier, but I love when there's a little bit of a discussion at each table how to resolve particular little unclear situations, and tables come up with different answers. I find that fascinating. I really believe that everyone who plays games is also a bit of a game designer. You have an instinct for what should be in the design once you get a mastery of a design. And so if you guys are out there playing Junked and you come to some of these fun questions, you know, like I got a great one today, like, you know, if a car junks in front of you, it counts as a wreck and you need to use guns to clear it, right? And absolutely. Absolutely. So if you understand the design enough to even ask that question, you have the right answer already in your head. Okay, now we've got something. This character's interesting all of a sudden. I missed nearly an hour. Well, Pyronide, I'm doing a double shot today. So we're going to go all the way until noon. Noon my time. What about a scar? Well, remember, you guys, I'm not making this stuff up. I'm all answering to a client on this. So I don't have a scar in the spec. So I got to be careful how much I take license with the spec. Because remember, these are commissions, and so I get detailed descriptions of these characters, which I read up on and get all ready for before the stream begins. So I got to be careful with improvising some of that stuff. Okay, just adding a bit of a temple shade here, a little shadow on the side of the temple. Kind of separates the front of the face from the ear area. And I'm feeling pretty good about that section, so I'm just going to kind of walk away from that. Except one thing, which is it looks a little too effortless. I'm really getting into theater of the mind too, and I'm running, challenging creativity. Absolutely, man. I think it's really fun. And you know, getting a knack for the kind of narration that works. Okay, we're going to do a cheat. You guys have seen me do this before. So I want to get more effort in his face. Like he's like, die. So you can push up the cheekbones and down the brow, and there you get this effort. See that? Then also, I'm just going to take the skin tone. I'm going to pull a little bit of color at it, so I'm not doing white, and then look, there's just a little hint of teeth in here. That's it. So if you see people who are doing effort with their teeth, you don't see like all these teeth and all this detail. You just see a little hint of teeth in the shadow of their mouth, and there you go. So see now how I changed the tone? Retheme Junked with spaceships. Absolutely. You know, one of the themes that I've been thinking about to retheme it is that old PlayStation game, Wipeout. With those like sort of rocket-shaped hover cars. I loved that on PS1 especially. So it's just an idea. So you can make your track kind of like sci-fi, high-tech. Okay, just doing the little piece of shaving in the eyebrow. I love it when you shave a little cut in your eyebrow. I don't know if I could do it because I barely have eyebrows. Props are cool and I use them in heaps, but terrain can, yeah. You know, terrain is a mixed bag. I think it can actually help newer players get into the game easier because they feel more comfortable with like a board game environment. But it does greatly limit. Even a Roll20, map can greatly limit the amount of true RP freedom that your characters have to invent what they want to do. You know, like in Cameron's game, Sinfall, for example, it would be really hard to do this huge battle with all these hover barges and my drift bike and all this cool stuff, even in a Roll20 map. Yeah, so see now he's like, die. Ooh, that's cool. I find your lack of throat to be disturbing. Okay, so I have this specific request from my client, Mr. Saxton, on this one piece of armor here. So I know that that's important to him, so I don't want to screw that part up. It's a little bit of segmentada, and it's also a little bit of sort of strap, belts and frogs, as we call them. But I don't really feel ready to do it yet. So I think what I'm going to do is get into some of the chain underneath. And some of the inspiration, like I said earlier, is The Witcher here. So I'm going to just try to find a color I like. It's like in here somewhere. Yeah, okay. So The Witcher, has a chain shirt underneath his business. So I'm gonna do that chain shirt first, and then I can do some of the other stuff on top. And think it goes like all the way down there. Now, I'm not just going to leave this huge swath of him in chain shirt, but if I do it underneath, it's going to let me do some more convincing stuff on top. You, that shiny shirt, that's mine. I've been thinking about doing Junked as a chariot race. Oh my god, if you can make those miniatures, that would be so amazing. Pyronide, yeah. I very, very, very intentionally tried to avoid a Mad Max feel to Junked. And went much more for something like Twisted Metal. So that means using more color, not doing all the spikes. I know that the new Fury Road is really, really cool and everybody loves it, but I very strongly feel that it has sort of creatively overtaken or even bullied the sort of Road Warrior art style. It's become so beloved and so imitated. I don't know. To me, it's just, I really did not want to get into that. You know, with like the poles, the pole things on the cars, the explosive poles and all the spikes of Ragged Armor. I freaking love Fury Road. It is amazing. But I didn't feel there was a lot of utility in another build that was inspired by that. Okay, so now I'm doing some shading inside the chainmail, and then we're going to do the detect shrink, so that'll be the fun part. Okay, so here's like under the chest. These stupid update reminders just make me want to jump in a lake. I really want to update iTunes, which you never use. Okay, great. Just quit talking to me. Okay, so now I'm going to do a little bit of highlighting on the chainmail. So that means coming up a few steps in color. And see there, I got this color now, which I'm actually going to blend down a bit. That's a little strong. Yeah, there we go. And by blend down, what I mean is just do one really light stroke and then sample that color. You know, am I doing anything right here? I don't know. I'm just like letting the blobs be the blobs. So there we go. So that's my chainmail base. I'm going to use Junk to run the race segment in Speed Kills. Oh man, good idea. Yeah, and make that those hover cars. And hover cars could be crafted really cool too. Like you could take the wheels off of Hot Wheels, turn them sideways, glue them in, build little fenders over them, and then have hidden bases so they're about a ½ inch off the ground. You could really do cool stuff with hover cars. Thanks for the Control S, dude. Eric, thank you. I just hit it. Thanks for that, man. That's my true brother. Okay, so I'm happy with my base. I'm happy with the base. The base. I'm happy with the base. With the base. So I'm going to go back to my base color, which is this kind of brown. And I'm thinking, whoa, am I going to be doing links? Like, how am I going to do this? Nope, I don't want to do it with the base. So I think I'm going to go, instead go to the highlight, like this. And this is how it's going to go down, guys. I'm going to do these little macaronis. See my little macaronis? They're like little letter C's that interlock. So you get this feeling that the chainmail is interlocking, but you don't get yourself in this messed up trap where you're like drawing thousands of chain links. A, you will go crazy, and B, the viewer doesn't have a lot of rest if you bombard them with zillions of chain links. They get fatigued in looking for, you know, the rhythm of detail in your piece. So if you're doing, you know, really fully realized, very realistic artwork, you might need to do some chainmail that's, you know, fully sort of rendered out. But then it's going to put this burden on you. Everything in your piece is going to need to be fully rendered. You will leave impressionism behind and you get into this trap of realism and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so anyways, I'm just doing these macaronis. I think I'm just going to live here for a while. It's kind of like when I'm doing trees in Ghost Mountain, you know, you guys can just hang out with me. Take a little sip of your coffee. You know, just live life. I feel one of the skills that we're undertrained in nowadays is how to just sort of, you know, be happy with things. You know, when things are going good, to enjoy it. You know, we seem highly trained on how to be unhappy, how to want and how to strive, how to have ambition, how to work hard. We're good at all those things, but, you know, how good are we at just saying, hey, it's Saturday morning. I'm not going to have any ambitions right now. I'm just going to watch the water cascade over the stones. Just going to listen to the trees for a minute. Just going to paint some chainmail. That's all I'm doing. I just want to live, Rambo. I just want to live. You know what's terrible? She wound up dying. It's so harsh. No wonder Rambo got so mad. Jeez. So now I just took a shadow color and I'm kind of just jumping inside each macaroni. And then I'm going to do some of the macaronis in shadow color. So it's like they're kind of not catching the light, you know. But still trying to sell this idea that this thing's made out of links. I ran your Ghost Mountain campaign with a few friends, and it was awesome. Well, that's great to hear, dude. Way to go. Ever run Slads in 5e? Absolutely. Curious about trying them out, and I can only imagine how crazy hijinks. Slads are great. Anything that's frog or lizard related, you guys know me. I'm in. When it comes to creatures like that, though, I always tend to homebrew them, and they wind up being, you know, a lot like deep ones or what are those little... grung. They kind of have a grung-like feel to them. And then there'll be a spectrum, just like in my second book with the Boggish folk. There's like a spectrum. Some of them really look like frogs. Some of them look like people. Some of them look a little more lizard-like, and there's all kinds of variation in the sort of amphibian form. Okay, so down here I'm doing some loose... He's got some loose rings coming off the mail. So if you've ever worn chainmail, you know that it's usually imperfect. Especially if it's been worn a lot. And the edges can sort of fray in a way. You can lose rings here and there. Okay. So there's my chainmail. Now just a few of these little links are going to be catching. Remember, when you're doing metal, you have that real high contrast between highlight and shadow. So you can just take your absolute white, your Betty White, and you just pop these guys. And here's where the sort of the highlights coming across the chainmail. Just pop them. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. The egg into the bag. Pop, pop, pop. Crack, crack, crack the egg into the bowl. M-I-X the flour into the mold. Punch, kick. It's all in the mind. If you want to test me, I think you'll find. Anybody out there play Parappa? Slads make a great Aliens movie style feel. Oh, yeah. Hey, yeah. I think they could be anything you imagine. Pork chops. Yeah, he's got a cool beard. All right. So there's that little highlight. And I'm done doing chainmail. For the love of Pete's ghost. By the Garden of St. Petunia. All right. I don't think there's any putting it off anymore. We're going to get into the armor and the frogs. So if anybody's confused what the hell I'm talking about with that, frog is a straps used for either scabbards or armor. And they're usually like sort of multi-axial belts. So they're belts that will, you know, meet at, you know, like 60-degree angles and stuff like that to create, you know, good fitting armor or scabbardry. Scabbardry. I don't think scabbardry is a word, guys. But frogs is definitely a word. Okay, so then I want this brass ring right here, and that's kind of what's holding this main set of frogs together. He's got another one that goes around the back. Maybe another one here. That's one too many, I think. Yeah, so he's just... M-I-X, the flour into the mold. Punch, kick, it's all in the mind. And if you want to test me, you're going to find the more than I meet ya. The more than I beat ya, or something like that. Why must you beat me, Father? Father, I've paid the electric bill. Now would you please make me my protein shake? Son, I've decided that this family will no longer eat protein shakes for breakfast. Avocados only. But Father, I hate avocados. Until the war ends, this family will only eat avocados. Oh, no. But Father, chocky. All right, let's get a leather color, leather color, like a warmer color for leather on this one. So remember, whenever I'm choosing brown, I always kind of flirt and see if it's going to vibrate, because brown's going to be hard to pick. Who dis grumpy gentleman? The things I'll teach ya is sure to beat ya. Oh, nice. Yeah, the things that I teach ya is sure to beat ya. Woo! Punch, kick, it's all in the mind. If you want to test me, I know you'll find the things that I teach ya. I'm going to beat ya. And if you're an avocado, my family's going to eat ya. Father, I despise mushy fruits. You know this. Wah. Son, ever since you've begun this frog obsession, you've been following your sentences with wah. It is not conducive to proper communication in this family. Punch, kick, it's all in the mind. If you want to test me, I think you'll find the things that I teach ya. Make me want to beat ya. I know my father wants to beat me, and he's never even played Parappa Chachi Chani Ton. Alright, so to get a little darker leather color, I'm going in here. Man, I'm kind of hungry. I had some scrambled egg and toast this morning, but I don't know if scrambled egg and toast is enough food, because I'm kind of bugging. I'm kind of bugging out right about now. The more that I meet ya, I want to beat ya. If you're an avocado, then my family gonna eat ya. Ooh. You know I'm rocking. I'm just like Spockin', cause I'm locking up what you put upon your docket. Get up on your bicycle, blow out your sprocket. I pedal too hard, I'm riding too fast. I got myself some candy, but the candy didn't last. I'm chomping Fun Dip. Acapella bass. Alright. I'm really gotta apologize for all that, you guys. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that diarrhea of the mouth is. I am just blippity blah blah blah. Blippity blah 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 blah. Blippity blah 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 blah. Shibbity blip. Okay. Alright, let's just do some little highlights on this leather here. Okay. Let's get a little highlight color. This is kind of like a hide tie, or a little rawhide tie that he's added to, I don't know, punch, kick. It's all in the mind. Now we're going to use what used to be my highlight color as my base color. And we're going to get into the segmentata here. Segmentata. Hey, is this here a quiche? Or is this one of them segmentatas? That's a little frittata humor there. Are there onions in this frittata? You know I can't eat onions. I am allergized. I got 2 kinds of camouflage on today. You can't see. I've been invisibilated. I'm like a black mamba hiding in the darkness. Oh, boy. Salad face. Dude, you can't call it Return of Frog Boy because he was never gone. Don't call it a comeback. I've been Frog Boy for years. So these are some little thingies here. LL Cool J in the house. He parked his car on the grass. He had his name written in gold on the dash. Man, you done gone crazy. You out here on the streets and don't even know what time it is. Yo, you crazy. Out here messing up your mind. You know what I'm saying? This is Ice-T talking to your boy. I'm going to tell you what time it is. Yo, it's time to pump up the volume. The record's revolving. Gaining velocity, momentum, and energy. Ice capital T boy. I got the power. That's two different songs, but who cares? All right, we're getting this segmentada done. I'm going to add some little stitching. I'm going to add some stitching. And no one can tell me not to. Father, I've taken the ancestral armor and added stitching. It's now a +2. So is this armor specific enough to answer the client's desires? I don't know. But it's more important that the piece is integrated and feels proper. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Flurpadoo. All right, hitting Control Save. Guys, I'm hungry. Please, sir, may I have some nuts? You may be annoying to the world, but you can always entertain yourself. Please, sir, may I have some flowered embroidery on my leather armor, my segmentata? I told you never to touch my segmentatas. Not until after supper. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab some nuts. That was the Get Nuts music. I'm only human. I must eat on the internet. I'm covered in frogs. I can speak from experience on being covered in frogs. It is unpleasant. You know, nothing against frogs. It's just in great numbers, many creatures can be disturbing. I'm dying. I think I inhaled a nut. Good God. I'm dying. This is the end. I see a great white light, and it's shaped like a nut. Sometimes you're shaped like a nut. Father, I'm dying. I've inhaled one of my froggy friends, who I've enslaved to form a sort of slave labor or workforce to build my doomsday weapon. All right. Yo, do you have an Ulfbert tattoo? You mean the sword? Isn't that a Viking short sword? Well, the answer is no. Nuts of inhalement. Oh my God. No, I do have sword tattoos, but they're not Ulfberts. Oh my gosh, that nut is in my wind hole. Father! There's a nut in my wind hole, Father! Quickly! Bring the rubber raft! Woogie, 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 woogie. Okay, meanwhile, in the real world, these gloves need to be rendered. Now, I don't really have a lot of good hints as to the warlocky nature of the character yet. He's just pure warrior at the moment, right? And that is unacceptable. So I'm going to change this arm here. Oh, I'm not supposed to burp on YouTube. I forgot. Even though it's a perfectly natural expression of human function, some people find it unpleasant. And I wouldn't want to make them uncomfortable. Adding some dark leather colors to the glove here. Using some mixture to get some darker colors. I find your lack of faith disturbing. And I find your peanut of impalement to be deadly. Let's try some more. I'm gonna eat some more. I don't know what Lou is talking about. Does this commission have a name? Yes, his name is Semius Ash. Semius Ash. Okay, anyway, check it out. One, we're going to bring in some purple cloth. Purple is the patron color of warlocks. I will not be argued with on this point. Okay, there we go. Got a little, just let my hand do some chaos there. But then I'm going to go back to the skin, and here's why. Check it out. Arm, right? Arm skin. Okay. This is also a chance for me to do a little bit of rendering on the fingers. Arm skin. Let's get some highlights going. Ooh, boy, that's a little strong. There we go. That's more better. That's just a little bit more better. Give me some finger highlights here. Okay. Now, my real purpose, my secret purpose, the reason that I wanted to do this sort of bare arm. First of all, get a little bit of highlight on this cloth. There you go. See, it's just chill. I didn't need to make a big deal about the whole purple cloth thing. I just put some little bit of colorful chaos in there to be like, you know, he's got some sleeves going on under here. It's all good. Chill out. Just start maxing, baby. Let's go kick it in the pub for a few hours. Just me and you. All right. Okay. Now, finally, the reason this is being done. Hank, do you put thought into harmonious colors? Absolutely. I may, come off as somewhat flippant with it, but, there's a lot of experience in these choices, and I still don't make the right ones. Color is an infinitely challenging skill. And some of my colleagues, they know who they are vastly more skilled at it than I am. But I put a lot of thought into it. And there's also some techniques. If you watch my DM screen stream a couple weeks ago, there's a lot of technique in there about how colors can be made to unify and can be made more harmonious and stuff. But the main way that I use to unify my colors is that I mix them as I work, just like Bob Ross does. So if you mix as you work, you're always going to get colors that are working together because they are results of each other. Gotta say, I've picked up a lot of your art technique and it's greatly improved my digital painting. That's awesome. Erberandus. I used to be slow and line arty. Now I'm fast and loose. Yeah, buddy. Fast and loose. Okay, I never even got to my stinking point of why I wanted to do this bare arm. And it's because I want to do blasphemous tattoos of the warlock. And that's how I'm going to do it. Did you just see what I did? I did that like at David Copperfield speed. That's great news, Eberandus. I'm really happy to hear it, man. It's a great feeling of freedom when you set all these limitations and these sort of how you're supposed to do things aside. And you just become yourself in a way. It can really free you. So what I did is I took my purple, I made a layer that's multiply, and I'm going to paint on the tattoos. Okay. So the hard part now, or the interesting part, is what is the tattoo and how do you do a tattoo style, so on and so forth. Then when I'm done, I'll kind of clean it up. But I'm going to do more of this sort of brocade type style, which I've been doing lately on some of my character tattoos. Brocade being a sort of a particular style of embroidery or decoration, like in tapestries or in finery. It involves these overlapping ripples. It also does a lot of like fleur-de-lis type stuff. I'm looking for how this dimension is going to work. Like where's the key line to the tattoo? So, you know, it might just take a few tries. And that's okay. Because we're all friends here. It's a supportive environment. Filled with frogs and other amphibians. So in this sort of center of this weird design, I'm going to do like an eye. And then some of these lines become more informed for me, so I can just go back and do those again. So you see how I'm sort of discovering where the line is rather than either trying to plan it or beating myself up because it took some work? I just let that spot be discovered. And even now it's still a little off. Like it needs to follow these sort of the muscle lines of the arm. Like that. Now I've got it. Now it fits his arm. There it goes there. So it's on the inside of his arm. It's still a little off. So I'm just going to cheat and kind of do this. And then we're going to kind of go from there. So once again, it's the most important message to me that I can give in these streams is that you don't know what's going to work and what isn't. And A, that's okay. And B, stay happy when it happens. Don't think, oh, darn it, I messed up. No, you didn't mess up. It's an iterative process. You're beautiful. Okay. Now I'm doing a little extra detail in here because like extra detailed tattoos can be very eye-catching, and it can help swirl the eye up toward the face, which is my real goal with the piece. Then he even has like a ring tattoo on one finger. See that little guy? And then the tattoos, we imply that they're on a lot more of his body than meets the eye by bringing them up under the collar, right here. And then probably just to make sure that we're you know, covering all our bases, he has a couple of these little temple tattoos, and then maybe one that's on the face. Just like that. Not a ton, but enough to know that he's been touched by dark forces. So you see now how that's like linking into the sort of the sleeves? So he has this purple cloth that's just slightly hinted at, but then also these purple tattoos, which they hook together and they let your eye understand that purple is part of his thing. And when we get toward the end, we're going to do like his magic energy is going to be purple, and that's when it's going to really pop, and you're going to get this feeling of warlockiness. Got to get the warlockiness. Okay, now I'm just going to merge that down. Remember, I work on a single layer usually. I know that that's against a lot of advisement because it is somewhat destructive to work that way, but I'm a really strong believer that layers really train you in a bad behavior of thinking you could go back later. And I think it reduces some of your confidence. Takes away your confidence. Because it gets you in this mindset of like, well, I can always undo that later. And, you know, if I don't like this later, and statements to yourself like that. And I think those are erosive to your, the relaxed kind of confidence that's going to give you more skill as an artist. Yeah. Eberandus. Yeah, thank you. I would like that to be the point. I feel like a lot of your tips are more applicable to digital arts. Well, absolutely. Platinum Sketch. I've never done any of my analog art in a stream. My streams are for digital artists. It is 100% fair statement. I do the other stuff, but frankly, my professional level skills are all in the digital realm. As I get older, I'm sure I'll get into some more traditional media. You know, I would especially like to do some sort of splattery style work. But for the sake of these streams, I keep it digital, and I'm very proud of that. I'm happy with how I do things. I'm happy to be me. Yes, you can start to feel it. His tips cross over well, though. I'm exclusively analog, and Hank's still. Oh, well, cool, Hunter. That helps, man. Thank you. I want it to be useful, but I try to never speak outside my zone. You know what I mean? I don't want to speak out of turn to other people doing other things. I think parts of his tattoo here are actually sort of have some energy in them. So just very gently letting off these lines so that they fade off. And then we're just going to come up and up and up in color. And here in a minute, I'll show you how to do like some lightning type stuff with these techniques. Father, I have an announcement. I have acquired my first tattoo. It is a portrait of a buffalo, as a tribute to my mother, who you have hunted to extinction. I'll never forgive you, Father. You're a butthole. Oh, that's some first grade humor right there. All right, so there, he's got a little bit of energy in the tattoo. We're going to bring a little bit of that into the ring tattoo. It's like the link to his hand. The hand is very impressionistic. It's not specific in any way. It's very like, you can kind of figure out what this hand is for yourself. I'm not really going to draw it. And I'm okay with it. I'm just letting it be slop. I don't think it's the key to the piece, so I'm just going to let it be. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just doing some little blibbity jibs. Okay. Looking good at cheese. Looking good at cheese. Feeling pretty good about it. So now there needs to be some sink into his chainmail, and I'm going to do it underneath the frogs. So I'm just using my lasso here. This is a bit of a cheat. Basically getting the frogs to sit on the chainmail a little better. They're kind of painted onto it in a way that isn't that pleasing to the eye. So see what I did there? I just brought the brightness down just underneath it. And it just gives it a little cheesy shadow. But it's more there. It's more in situ ad flagrante. And then I'm just going to do some brush work to kind of drive it home. Maybe a little black here and there. It's not black, it's my base color, but it's effectively black for the piece. Yeah. There we go. I also kind of feel like I want to do a stripe or something on his chainmail, like he took paint and just did it across. Back when Uni, back when I used to do canvas paintings, watercolor spray paint. Oh yeah, always fun. I'm an anafrog. I'm an anafrog. I'm no digital lizard. I'm an anafrog. Okay, so he has his other arm. He has the sleeve pulled down. Like meow. But then I got this darker purple for the back of the sleeve. And for some of the sort of wrinkly bits. Now, I grab my purple highlight. I've already developed all these colors, so no need to do it again. And there you go. Get my darkest leather. And just give these little bracer wraps a little bit of zest. Hand guard. Give it a little bit of a highlight. Not much. This isn't the focal point of the piece for me. And see, now this is getting exciting because we're working our way down the piece. And that makes me very happy. That means you're past the hardest part. You're flibbeting the gibbets. Everything's going to be great. My skin tone needs to be updated. And like this hand can kind of be updated and simplified. And I'm just going to kind of... Remember like earlier I sort of rescued that hand from oblivion? Now I don't care. My confidence is much higher than at the beginning of the piece. So I just kind of do that. Get my darker skin color. Kind of do that, and there's just sort of this hand just kind of hanging out down there. Nothing really to it. He's pretty relaxed. We might even put a sword in that hand or something. I don't know. But I think he's got a hip scabbard, maybe one that he lets ride low. Yeah, there we go. And then whoop up. Well, thanks for hanging out, everybody. 96 of you. We consistently get right around about 100 viewers on CARDTOONS. And it's great to have everybody. There's one of his scabbards. Here's the other one. Something going on his thing there, and then he's got a belt that's over the shirt. Now I'm just playing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just playing, guys. I'm just trying to have a good time, you know, and I'm succeeding. Good evening, good morning. Hey, Simon, what's up, dude? I have a question. If I have to make some... Boy, you are not the only person asking me to make a Frog Boy book. I have a question about the class Wildling. Do I still add my basic effort bonus when I'm rolling the D12? No. No, you don't. I mean, unless you and your table decide that's what you want, then by all means. But that would be crossing the streams, so to speak. So not only would you be rolling ultimate when told to roll basic, you would be adding both your ultimate and your basic. Like you're quadrinkling your numbers there. You're just losing it. All right, so we want probably one of these darker leathers. Starting to be pretty cool. I'm going to get a little bit of highlight on some of the skin down here. Pen's way too big. There we go. I don't like something about this hand is just too freaking rigid or something. There we go. Okay. Now, before we run out of time, I'm probably not going to finish the piece here right in the stream. Remember, a lot of these more often than not, take 2 hours. So one thing I wanted to show you guys is how I do some of my magic stuff. So for him, I want to do a backing piece. So I'm going to grab this purple highlight. And the backing piece is sort of like this magical glyph. So draw a circle, think about a pentagram, but don't just draw a pentagram. Draw something interesting. Invent your own pentagram. Okay, so there you go, you're done. Now go down to about half that line size and do like accents. Accents being just find where there's a line that you like and just parallel it. And what this does is it gives your glyph this feeling of exaggerated detail without you having to, like, you know, develop all kinds of crazy stuff. Like this. Just smaller lines make things feel more detailed. Okay, so you did that. And then for winning, go in, a little bit bigger pen, and then give yourself some practice at doing little sets of glyphs or runes. So you're just kind of doing this. And in time, you'll get good. You know, it may seem like I'm just kind of pulling these out of nowhere, but I've been doing the same little imaginary alphabet for years. Okay, now you're done. Now you're going to go take a look right here. Okay, cool. Hey, man, that's pretty cool. Then just take your layer and say, screw it, color dodge. Boing. Then go back. Okay, now color dodge, especially, you know, purple versus warm, you're going to get this white result, right? ICRPG may be the best thing to happen to tabletop. Jeez, Brandis, you're crazy. Long time D&D 2E and been disappointed 5e. Yeah, thanks, man. Well, I would like to think part of it isn't just the game design, but the attitude. You know, sometimes I think there's an attitude in D&D that you're supposed to do it the way they want you to do it. And it isn't just openly written right there in the rules that says, hey, there's no right way to do this, you know? Take it or leave it. Peace out. And I think that's an important part of the hobby. So I think 5e is awesome. It's clearly the lifetime favorite of a lot of players. And so, you know, I got to salute WotC for doing that. Good job. Okay, the line weight here is a little off, so I'm going to shrink and shrink and shrink until I like it, which is about there. And check these out. Check these ones out. Holy squirrel war. Can you guys hear that? The squirrels are killing each other. Alex McKenzie, well, they kind of say something. I've been doing those little things for so many years that it's kind of just in my head. So I feel a little awkward about it. I think I'd rather not talk about it. I.e., I am weird, and yeah, let's leave it at that. So here he's doing his thing. Now, there's a bit too much geometry chaos, and so what I want to do is I'm going to keep that back one, but check this out. I'm going to take my circle, pop, gone, bang, clone, flip 180, chach, right in the chachi. Pow, right in the chachi. So you see how I eliminated some of the chaos by doing a clone there. And then bring it back to the hand. And this just makes things a little more orderly. Now, I'm going to say, hey, wait, this still isn't even good enough. Whoa, spaceship just drove by. Now I'm going to do quadrants, like this. Are they precise quadrants? No, don't care. Clone. Flip. Chow. Chop. Right in the gadoolies. You punched him right in the gadoolies, and now I have this weird sort of non-chaotic shape. So it gives me this sort of, I guess in recent terms, this sort of Doc Strangey feel to things. Now you can experiment with ink types. See what you get, see what you like, see what you don't like. I'm pretty happy with where things are. Just experimenting with what might happen if I started to paint on my my thing there. And I'm not terribly happy with how brown and purple are going to interact. bit disappointed with it. So try other things. Screw it. Here's some cyan, some yellow. That's pretty cool. Some orange. Crank the saturation. Can I get some more? Yeah, there. I kind of like that. So then let's change this one. So you see, it's just like I had all these plans and I thought I knew what I was doing. I didn't. And that's okay, man. Don't beat yourself up. I invented my own similar glyph lettering when I was 14. Yeah, that's kind of how, it's kind of a language. It is kind of an alphabet. I really enjoy using for exploring world spaces. Goldheim, I love it. So you see, I just kind of wound up abandoning my own philosophy and just going with what the colors wanted. And now see if I can just kind of integrate a bit of a pepperoni here. I am casting the bind of autumn. So I'm happy. Cool. I like how the colors are playing out. It's very interesting. Now I'm going to do some of this energy. This is energy being exchanged between the front and the rear glyphs. So I'm just using a very small brush, and then as I draw, I oscillate my pressure, and it creates this odd energetic effect. And you don't need many. Don't need many. And then just do some little sparkies. That's it. Just uber simple. It just takes it to that place. Now we're gonna go back to the skin. We're gonna get one of these nice yellow colors, and then we're just gonna pop it on the skin. So he's pretty well illuminated, so it's not like a full-on rim light, but he's catching some of this light on his skin. Like this. See that? Right on the skin, then there's a little bit here on his leather, there's a little bit on the chainmail. You see this yellow is just kind of on things because it's so bright right in front of him. So you don't need to worry about like, am I lighting this or something? No, you're not doing lighting. If you're like me, you just don't know how. What you're doing is you're just sort of doing a little bit of a link. There, that's it. That's it. Like it's just that little bit. Looking sweet, mate. Bit of clock over here. Peace out, gang. Aye, Rich. Have a good one, man. Hey, Joey, what's up? Thanks, dude. Okay. Feeling pretty good. And we got about 15 minutes left on the stream. Really excited to see what happens with Junked, if everybody really can, get it to the table and have fun. Just came out, what, 4 days ago, so it's a little soon. But, and see what people's questions are about the gameplay, Always fun. But this guy is definitely going to take a little more time. Bit of an advanced one, he is. 2 big pieces of thong for the fingers on the handguard. Thong, 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 thong. Yeah. I'm going to need some other piece of equipment too, like right here on his waist. He needs some warlocky equipment. Oh yeah, pretty cool, huh? Oh, sweet, Groob. Thanks, Nathan. Yeah, Gruber, let me know what you think, man. Let me know how it goes. Especially curious about, first time play. That's when, any weak points in the sort of teaching of it are going to come up for you guys. So you're going to have some arguments about some stuff. I hope. And those are what I want to hear about. That's where we can improve. I don't know if you guys saw my tweet from yesterday, but I've already started working. There's going to be an expansion pack on Junked. It'll be free with anybody who bought the PDF. As is my way. It includes a huge semi-truck, a tank, solo mode and a campaign. Reliquary. A reliquary is like a little jar, right? With a little tooth in it or something, a little finger. I love the idea. Let's play. Let's play. Let's just play around. It's like a little canister. Like a holy canister. So let me see, it's going to have some metal. We don't want to quite do the same metal. It's going to be a warmer metal. Here. Remember, metal isn't about the base color. You can do any base color. It's about the contrast in the specularity. So there I'm doing a more of a light copper. And then boom, I go way up here. And pow. Pow. Chachi. Potsy. Joni. Bang. Then straight to maximum. Straight to maximum. The pickled finger of a demon. Oh my god, I love it. Brilliant. Let's do a pickled demon finger. Okay, here's my blue. Here's my blue. I really hope you guys enjoy these streams. Something I look forward to every week. You know, you guys know, of course, I hope you know, or I would like you to know, that I actually do this pretty much every single day of my life. I paint to do commissions, to do my own projects, you know, whatever. But Saturday morning is kind of you get to revel in it a little bit. Okay, now glass, even more extreme specularity than metal. So you just go straight from your color, pow, to white like that. Just that simple. And then just stop. If you want, you can do a couple little bubbles. Okay, now we're going to put the finger in there. So remember, I can't use my base color like this. That's too dark. Because fluid and glass will slightly diffuse the darkness, right? You get a milkier color. So take my base color, blend it with a very light stroke with the blue, and there's your color. And even that might be a little dark, so we're gonna grab that color and then grab that color. There we go. Now we're going to go just a tiny bit darker, and I'm not going to use mix because it's just, I want such a, there we go. There's just a little bit of darkness to this finger that's in here. I'm sort of looking for a way to show this idea a little better. If you're wondering what the F I do. So I just want a little more darkness. I keep like probing for this right spot. That could be it. So there's got this finger in here. Now I'm going to erase my highlight that I did, and I'll show you why. Okay, I'm going to go back to absolute white, and now I'm going to get a little bigger brush, and this highlight needs to get on top of the finger. Like that. See that? The fact that it's on top of the finger puts that glass in front of the finger. Do you mind if we share monster artwork? I don't know what you mean by that. Now, I like this greenish idea, so we're just going to go here and I'm just going to cheat. Just like that. Okay. Well, you got to be very careful with green and purple. You can wind up with Joker land really quick. And believe me, you do not want that. The Joker is a very extreme case of color, and it gets really silly really fast. No. There we go. Okay, so just doing some little metal bits that are kind of holding this thing together. I'm getting ready to wrap up the stream here. I got my day to do, guys. I got to do my day. Saturday, I'm thinking about, you know, it's like summer is really here. Thinking about maybe getting the hog out. Get some thunder under my butt. Go see some world. So I hope you guys got some cool plans with friends and fam today. And if you don't, that's all right too. Yesterday was sunny and beautiful, and all I did was stay in and read. Leonardo, hey, thanks, man. So here's where we're at. Yeah, the reliquary is a really fun idea. So he's got this weird little... You can barely even tell it's a finger, but I don't care. He just has a thing in a little bottle. Really fun. I mean, call me crazy, but I just feel this urge to be like, bang! But that's not part of the character. Going to a wedding. Gonna drink some of that Bombay Sapphire. Shadespire. Ooh, that's cool. I'm going to try to not inhale any more nuts today. That's going to be my primary goal. So one funny thing I can see from out here is it's just a little off on this angle. There we go. So I've definitely got some work to do on the pants and so forth. Have you ever played Call of Cthulhu? Absolutely, man. One of the first games I played. One of the oldest RPGs in the land. That D100, though. But like every game I've ever played, I don't think we ever played it properly. We just hacked it up. Alright. So I think he's got a katana-like weapon. And then he has a proper longsword. Not that a katana isn't proper, but it's no longsword. There's a small hilt cap on the katana. There we go. You don't want your suba to get too thick on your katana either. It's got the thin suba. There we go. Suba is the handguard on a katana, much like the quillins on a European sword. All right, there we go. There we go. Little strappies hanging off of there. There we go. Save these. I can relate to that. Have a good one. Yo, Pyronite, you too, man? I'm going to hit Control S and I'm going to walk away. You guys, thanks for tuning in. It's great to have you as always. This is a commission painting of a Hexblade Warlock. And not quite done, but these things take time. Especially if you want to make them cool with a lot of macaroni. You guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. It's been another beautiful Saturday ahead. So I hope everybody get out there, make the world a tiny little bit better than it was yesterday. And keep it real. Don't steal. You're always going to get a deal. And I'll see you on that old internet, all right? So, Hanker and Fern now, signing off. Everybody have a good one. Strength, honor, and business. I want strength. I want honor. I want beer. I want strength, I want honor, and I want beer. I want strength, I want honor, and I want beer. Guten Tag, mein Freund. Bis morgen. Guten Tag. Auf Wiedersehen. I got to go. It's Saturday, as y'all know. Gonna have some fun out in the sun. Gonna make the world a little bit more better than I used to be. Hey, hey.